oftentimes what you should be doing is taking that workflow and redesigning it with the AI and, whatever tool that you're trying to integrate. Whatever you're building, if it has a layer of AI to it, a layer of some sort of automation to it, focus more on the knowledge base.
Today we are breaking down the strategic orchestration of automated growth systems, data-driven operational design, and the tactical integration of human creativity with machine learning for modern commercial scaling.
Make sure before you jump into integrating this new tool or integrating, a new process, whatever it may be, make sure that you have that strong foundation first.
Hello everyone, this is Kripa Anand and welcome to the Startup Growth Podcast. Today we are breaking down the strategic orchestration of automated growth systems, data-driven operational design, and the tactical integration of human creativity with machine learning for modern commercial scaling. In 2026, building a sustainable brand that accelerates revenue without inflating your fixed overhead requires looking past superficial software trends to implement deeply integrated AI tools, refined business intelligence loops, and robust, failure-tested operational frameworks. Joining us today is Mohamed Aden, founder and CEO of Aadamo Labs. Mohamed is a seasoned entrepreneur and growth strategist with over a decade of experience navigating the front lines of e-commerce, consumer product launches, and enterprise software development. By leveraging his unique background in building and successfully navigating various business ventures, he now helps brands optimize their entire operational ecosystem through advanced automation and data-backed decision-making. So, before further ado, let's welcome this very special guest. Mohamed, welcome to the podcast. Such a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now,
Excited to be
Mohamed,
here.
so am I, and I'm looking forward to this conversation today. Mohamed, every leadership team in the country right now is currently shouting about their artificial intelligence strategy, right? Yet, when you look at the bottom line, very few are seeing actual measurable business results from that. So let's start the conversation by understanding, from your perspective, why do so many companies fail to turn AI ambition into real business results? Go ahead.
That's a good question. Myself included and the different business and brand owners that I work with on a daily basis, I think a lot of people, what they're trying to do is take their existing systems and, workflows and sort of shove AI into it and force it in, right?
Mhm.
And an analogy I like to always say is you just can't get a puzzle and force a piece in, right? So oftentimes what you should be doing is taking that workflow and redesigning it with the AI and, whatever tool that you're trying to integrate, right? And organically integrating it into the workflow, right? As
It
opposed
shouldn't
to,
feel forced, yeah.
it doesn't feel forced, right?
Yeah.
And it's less efficient, right?
Hmm.
Because everyone is trying their best to just get on the wave, right?
Right.
Slow down, actually identifying what are the bottlenecks of this specific thing you're trying to solve.
Mhm.
And then reworking that workflow as opposed to just trying to force it to work, right? So I think that's where a lot of, and myself included, I always see these fun tools that can, make the operation better, help grow the account, right? But we just need to take a few steps back.
No, definitely. That's very well articulated, Mohammed. Specifically, what you mentioned, there's so much noise out there in the market, right? You open LinkedIn, you open Instagram, everyone is just talking about these new AI buzz tools that you somewhere feel very left out or left behind, right? From that perspective now, let's talk about some practical steps that business owners can take, right? So, majority of the conversations that I've had with so many people, all they've told me is that for any startup or small business, you have to make AI do the repetitive work so that your brain can get free for the strategic thinking process, right? So from that perspective, how do you suggest business owners remove this and, scale effectively operationally?
Yeah, so I think I always like to ask the question when people ask me this, I say,
Yeah.
what is repetitive work in your business?
Hmm.
Because, in the boardroom or with the business owners and the managers,
Yeah.
right, what we think is repetitive for the team,
Right.
right, that's actually doing the job versus what they're actually doing, there's a gap, right?
Yes.
There's always that gap. So
Yes.
I always like to say it's about knowing what is actually repetitive. So what I like to do is an exercise. I even ran this exercise recently with my team where I took I took one subsect of a department and I said, I want you to document everything you're doing.
Every step.
Every step is mundane. I want to see it.
Right.
Don't worry, just document it.
Yeah.
It's just for us. And we were able to gather so much data. And, once we looked at the data and compared it across like multiple employees,
Yeah.
there was a gap. Like what I thought they were doing
Versus what they were actually doing. Yeah.
So that's the first step. Now, once you identify that what is repetitive, you can easily work from there to now think of automations, right? So before you automate, actually think of what you need to automate, right? That's like the most helpful piece of advice that I could give anybody.
No, definitely that makes a lot of sense because, as you said, when we talk about what an employee is doing in our head versus their actual workflow, there's always a gap in any business, right? That's the
100%.
operational workflow. That's just how it is. Great perspective there. Now, I'd like to talk about the failures that one goes on in life as well. So firstly, before getting to the failures, I'd love for you to tell your story. You're so passionate about what you do. How exactly did you end up doing what you're doing today? Is entrepreneurship, business, something you were always very interested in even as a kid, or did you stumble upon this in your career? So go ahead.
I was always interested in it. Like I was, my siblings may describe me as like the schemer, I was like a middle child.
Okay.
Right? I come from a big family, like 3 older siblings, 3 younger siblings.
Uh-huh.
So I was always kind of doing my own thing, you know?
Right.
I always had little business ideas. Like the earliest business I can remember was, when I was 12 or 13.
Okay. What did you do?
And I found a way to reach out to people that had YouTube, like YouTube channels,
Right.
and I would offer to make them like design their YouTube pages.
Oh, wow. The
Right?
thumbnails and everything.
No, not even the thumbnail, just like their page,
Oh,
their
the
channel,
page.
like the
Okay,
top
okay.
banners and some
Uh-huh.
of their little. And I had zero graphic design, right? I just saw, hey, like some of these bigger content creators back in the day had really nice pages, and like and not many people were making their pages look nice. So
Right.
that was like some of my early business where I've always taken the leap and tried, even if I didn't know everything. Like I remember when I got my first client, got like $300 that he sent to me, and it was a
Wow.
lot. Like I was a child, $300,
Of course,
right?
yeah.
And I just remember saying, okay, well now I have to figure it out, right? I've done many things like in between from then to now. Once upon a time, I had like a cleaning business. Like I
Oh,
was
okay.
cleaning, like I was doing Airbnb turnover service, like when Airbnb just launched in Toronto.
Okay.
Right. I used to sell like little Christmas dog sweaters and stainless steel straws. I was always trying to do something, right? I think only in the last couple of years where, I've grown in my family and I've had kids that, I've taken a bet on myself because I feel like one disservice I did to myself was I was always 1 foot in, 1 foot out, you know,
You were always all in.
yeah, now
Yeah.
I'm all in, right? I think we were talking about this before the episode a little bit,
Yeah.
right? Where I grew up, right, there was only 2 paths, right? Either you go to school and become a lawyer, doctor, an engineer, or the only way you can make it out is you become a basketball player.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the skills to do the basketball playing, right? So I, from where I grew up and even in my family, I never saw like business owners. So it was hard for me to ever like jump into it,
Right.
right? But the last couple of years, I have my own family. When you become a dad, you get a different type of drive, right? But yeah, that's a little bit about my story and kind of my path. But there's always something within me. Like I've always
Right.
been a person that wanted to create, do something for myself. and had a bit more entrepreneurial tendencies.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I think the work that you're doing is incredibly important and so much more power to you. And kudos to everything that you achieved so far. Has parenthood changed the way you look at entrepreneurship as well? Or has it made an impact over that as well? Specifically, now that you have your kids in your life, has it changed your way of doing the business as well?
100%. I feel, you have a lot more purpose, and
Right.
even aside from like I feel entrepreneurship and parenthood both do something to you.
Right.
So entrepreneurhood and parenthood, I find the thing that it both does to you is it really makes you look within,
Right.
right? To really be an entrepreneur and to even be a parent, you constantly have to be so reflective of
Yes.
yourself, right? So I think both of those journeys have led me to even become better in my own life, better, on my religion, better as a person, better as a father, better as a manager,
Mhm.
right? So both journeys kind of like led me there together.
We'll take a quick break right here, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, we'll explore how AI powered creative tools are transforming the way businesses develop content and drive growth. Stay tuned. To all the digital founders, e commerce operators, and growth leaders watching, allowing repetitive tasks or unrefined data processes to stall your brand's trajectory is a major operational liability, specifically in this year. Leveraging real world operating experience, Mohamed Aden and his team at Aadamo Labs built internal AI tools, automated intelligence systems, and creative content hubs designed specifically to convert. Optimize your production pipeline to achieve sustainable growth without any unnecessary complexity or layers to it. So, don't forget to visit their website for more information. Welcome back to the Startup Growth Podcast. Let's dive into how the Creative Hub is helping businesses create smarter content, improve efficiency, and achieve stronger results. Now, Mohammed, let's talk about the creative side of your current work and see how you are fundamentally changing the content development game. So, go ahead and use this opportunity to educate me and our listeners about the Creative Hub. What is it and how exactly it is going to change the game for everyone in the industry?
Yeah, so this is something that we built for ourselves right now that something I'm really proud of.
Uh-huh.
So the Creative Hub is basically, so we do a big part of our work is we work with brands that are brands that sell on Amazon,
Mhm.
and we help them scale, launch, whatever on Amazon. That's our niche and that's where we work in, right? So
Mhm.
a big part of what we do is a lot of content, right? You have to do a lot of visual content, a lot of like written content,
Mhm.
right? Back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I even mean like a year ago, 2 years ago,
Right.
right?
Before AI hype.
Before
Yeah.
AI,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It was a labor intensive process, right? You had to do a lot of ideation, a lot
Right.
of like research, like, look at a lot of competitor analysis. So there's a
Mhm.
lot of like analytical stuff. There was a lot of like, just creative thinking. So we built a tool inside for our creative strategists within our company. It's nothing available to the public,
Mhm.
but it's what we use to deliver results for our clients. So basically what this tool does is I like to call it the assistance of all of our team members. So a lot of people think AI is going to replace employees. I think it's just going to better equip them,
Yes. Yeah.
right? So all of our creative strategists now have this tool available to them that we have reshaped our workflow around where it helps you ideate, right?
Mhm.
It helps you do the consumer research, right? It helps you look into the data. It helps you break down very complex, topics into more simple, understandable things, right?
Mhm.
So now where the creative strategist needed to spend week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, designing a marketing strategy or
Yeah.
designing content, they're able to now get the output done a lot faster and the quality still remains, right? And this tool helps them from end to end, right?
So
So
you guys created this tool in-house to
exactly.
use for your own self,
Yeah,
right? That's
exactly.
amazing. How long did it take for you to build this tool? And then how long did it take for you to start implementing it in the workflow as well?
So the building part was easy.
Okay.
Building things is actually really easy nowadays. and it took us probably over the last year and a half, but it
Okay.
wasn't the most challenging part. The challenging part that I think people forget is for anything that uses, because our tool uses like AI and like a little bit of machine learning algorithms and stuff
Mm-hmm.
to come up with outputs, like design
Right.
outputs and stuff. But AI is only as good as the input,
Yes.
right? So what we spent most of our time building was our database of our knowledge
Clean
base.
data.
Yeah, exactly. So like what image converts?
Yeah, yeah.
Like how, because we didn't give AI just the full reins to run with things and make whatever content it wants, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we gave it all of, because I've worked with 1,000 brands over my, years on Amazon,
Right.
right? So we were able to build, internal like skills and internal knowledge base within our tool where we taught the AI what converts, what images convert,
Right.
what content converts, like,
Mm-hmm.
what wording to use, how to use that wording, where to extract the data from, like where to look, why to look there.
Right.
All of that took the longest time. And what I recommend to people always is whatever you're building, if it has a layer of AI to it, a layer of like some sort of like, automation to it, focus more on the knowledge base, right? Because the knowledge base is really that's where the gold is,
Yeah.
right? So that took the longest time to build.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we've kind of have that built, our system is actually able to create first draft images and content itself, right?
Wow.
And what the team now does is polishing it, editing
Right.
it, and putting the human touch. Because obviously,
Right.
there's
Yeah.
what makes AI can only, I always say now, AI can only take you 90% of the way,
Right.
right? You need to kind of push
Do
it over
the
the
yeah,
line,
yeah.
right? So that's a little bit about it.
Wow, I think I'm blown away because I've seen a lot of companies who are making such products for other businesses, right? But it's great to see you doing something like this for your own self. That's amazing. I think this approach is also a perfect example of human led strategy because it doesn't replace the artistic talent of your team, but rather gives them a massive head start in a way, right? By removing the mundane research phase of their day. Now, let's shift our focus to the future of workspace and talk about the shifting role of a modern executive. So, Mohammed, where do you suggest founders start to leverage AI without failing or, falling for shiny objects or anything that they're seeing on social media?
Yeah.
So, what is it that this should do instead?
That's a good question. So if someone was to ask me this question as a founder, I think what I would always tell them to do is back to what I said, like build that knowledge base.
Yeah,
Second is don't just rely on these like tools and these AIs,
right.
right? A lot of time is build your guardrails as well too.
Yeah,
As you're building as you're building the solution,
right.
build the guardrails. And the guardrails basically is like, the human touches, like what are they supposed to like audit? Like don't just let AI like go and run with things.
Right.
Right.
Be in control
Be in
yourself, right?
control,
Yeah.
right? Help build those workflows that keep that AI within this sort of like play. I call it like we have like a box, right?
Mhm.
And we only let AI like, we draw a big box, but there's limitations to what it can do and what it can't do, right?
Yeah.
And we have those like human touch points, and then we also have those touch points we built in as well too.
That's amazing to know, Mohammed. I'm loving this conversation today, and definitely we'd love for you to be back, hopefully, for a deeper discussion that we do the next time. But for today, before we let you go, if there's one piece of advice that you have for our listeners today, specifically to other startup founders who are, so confused about where to take that first leap of faith from, if you could whisper one thing into their ears, what would you say and why?
I would tell them don't feel behind, right? It's okay to slow down. It's okay for things are always going to be moving, right? Build stronger systems that will outlive all of these things. New tech is always going to emerge. Every 6 months, there's going to be something new, right? Focus on building a strong foundation. It's like when you build a building, right? You just don't start stacking blocks above it, right? And a strong foundation consists of a strong team, strong culture within that team, strong workflows that are able to adapt, right? And things like that. So just make sure before you jump into integrating this new tool or integrating, a new process, whatever it may be, make sure that you have that strong foundation first and don't feel like you're behind, right? Just go at the pace that you need to go to make sure that you're building something long lasting.
That was very reassuring, I'm sure, for all the listeners out there. Mohammed, it was such a pleasure having you on the show, and definitely we'll get you back one more time.
Yeah, hopefully I'm back and we can dive deeper into some of the topics.
All right, that was Mohamed Aden from Aadamo Labs, showing us how to move past the AI hype cycle, scale revenue through intelligent automation, and build a modern enterprise foundation on the strength of real world lessons in 2026. Thank you so much for tuning into the Startup Growth Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and visit startupgrowth.ca for more such insights, resources, and conversations designed to help founders and businesses scale with clarity. I'll see you all in the next episode. Kripa Anand signing